For Good Day PA's resident crafting expert, it has been her dream to combine her love for doodling with her love of sewing and quilting by designing fabric. That dream has come true with her debut fabric collection, Bloom and Sew. And Amy Latta is back on the show with us this morning. Amy, so good to see you again.
It's so good to see you. I feel like it's been quite a while.
It has. Well, you've been busy. You have a good excuse, but we're so glad you're back here today. Tell us first what inspired this fabric collection and what it looks like.
Sure. So, like you said, this is something that I've wanted to do for a while now, combining my artistic passions and creating fabric and Andover Fabrics partnered with me. And this is just the first of a bunch of fabric collections that we're creating together. So this one in particular was inspired by a central image, a doodle that I had drawn where it was flowers coming out of a spool of thread. And so I took that and kind of expanded it into all the different prints and patterns that are in the fabric collection. So there's a fabric that has dancing spools all over it. There's one with loopy threads, and then there's lots with the floral motifs on them as well. And one of the fun things that I wanted to do with this collection, because I wanted it to be really accessible for even beginners who are just getting into sewing, was I wanted to create a panel. And this panel is something that has these special hand-drawn illustrations on them or lettered phrases. And you can see it there on your screen. And basically what happens is you cut that panel apart and it gives you the fronts of a bunch of different projects. So you can create, you see there's two pillow fronts there, and all you do is pair each one of those with a backing and sew around it and stuff. And then automatically you've got two pillows. There's also a table runner. So you just cut this out of the panel, put a backing on it and a binding around it. And there are 6 little pouch fronts. So you can make all these cute little pouches that say fun things like sewing mends the soul or material girl, just fun things like that. So I wanted to add that in as something for folks who maybe wanted to take a chance and get into sewing, but didn't have a whole ton of experience.
Looks great. I mean, it's really cool stuff. And of course, it just screams Amy Latta, right? So we love that too. Now, where can we find some free patterns, right? Are they available?
Of course, I've got you hooked up. So I have tons of free patterns. Behind me, you'll see what I call the Simple Spools quilt, and that uses all fabrics from my collection. There's a free pattern for that, as well as lots of other free patterns and instructions on how to make those panel projects at amylattacreations.com. And as for the fabrics themselves, you can get yardage as well as, I love pre-cut fabrics, Brett, because they make my job easier as a sewist. So you can get these 5-inch squares, you can get 10-inch squares, and you can get 2.5-inch strips that make it easier for some of your quilting projects because the cutting is already done. So you can find these at fabric stores across the country, and you all have one very close to you. It's called Half Moon Handworks in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, and they are carrying the full collection.
That's amazing. Yeah, you got to go check it out. Amy, thanks so much. And we're going to have a little more from you in our second half hour, so don't go anywhere, okay?
Thanks.